We're back.
Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Unless if I don't like you. No, I'm just kidding.
And I don't like anyone. I just come off as nice and pleasant, but I'm really a hater.
Oh my gosh. What is it? We're just so hateful and we just watch these women because we hate them.
I know, apparently, because you're a man.
We just hate it so much. It's not for us.
You see, I'm part of the 10%. He's part of the 90% of man hater.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hate of men hating on fat women.
She's the 10%. She's the minority. She's the special girly.
I'm the special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that was their big thing. It's not for you. It's like, okay.
Then why are you on the internet?
Yeah. Like, okay.
This is a shared space, not a safe space.
Okay. I mean, I would respect it more if they were like, we're just going to do this. We're going to put this on blast and support being hugely fat. And we're going to promote it, period. And we don't give a crap. And this is what it's about. It's like, okay, then you set an expectation. Like, to me, that's how you would talk to an audience.
Yeah.
And then maybe they would listen or they wouldn't. But if you said it flat out, like I've said it many times on the channel, I'm not going to reinforce toxic ritualistic. You're not going to get it from me. You're not going to feel better about what you're doing on this channel. You're probably going to be anxious about it or whatever, because I'm not going to support it at all.
Yeah.
And if I set that expectation, then I've done what I can as a content creator, which is what they should do.
Yeah. Which is why I always say I'm not going to support your socialism. But you're perfectly welcome to watch me because we agree on this one thing.
Yes, do check out Lisa's channel for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I liked her series of videos, but she's done now. She quit. No, I'm just kidding. She didn't quit.
I'm terrible. On vacation. I'm filming for his channel.
True.
But we will be filming for mine tomorrow because there's one that I want to do.
Ooh.
He's going to educate me on being small fat.
Oh, yes.
We had a little bit of education on visibility.
Yes.
But we need to talk about it more in depth.
That was part 1. So we can do or you can watch that one. Oh my gosh. Look at me trying to YouTube. You can do part 1. You can watch part 1.
Catch up on the introduction to that, and we will expand on it in a video on my channel.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, we need to start. I don't know how to talk anymore.
For some reason, you clicked on this video and not the other one. Go watch the other one first.
That's what I was trying to say.
We want to jump into part 2. Just know I was harassed by homeless people all throughout Austin.
Yes.
And Alex was horrified, and I barely noticed.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to try to do this in a way that one of our heads is not cut off, because the way it looks to us here is not how it's recording.
Yes.
So,
which is great.
Wish us luck. We're gonna make us itty bitties. And if we want to rant, we'll just change the screen size.
Okay.
Hey.
That works.
Let's go.
It is that moment of asking people to look at you.
Yeah.
And what I think is different with the podcast, and granted, I've made some YouTube videos where I talk about like experiencing going on an airplane when I was fat and things like that. Like I've definitely
I already have to say something. Okay. This is the thing too. Asking people to look at you. That's introverted. I feel like extroverts are always are wanting people to look at them from like a young age.
I mean, I don't think it's so much of like people want you. I mean, there's a lot of extroverts depending on personality type who like attention, but it's more like you just get so used to people looking at you that you're okay with it, and so you don't try to hide.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I guess my huge issue with it is it's like, stop conflating. They conflate everything with this, and I'm trying to separate it out. So it's like, don't conflate introversion with fatness. Don't conflate introversion with the toxic ritualistic. Just like I say, don't conflate fatness and womanhood. They're not the same thing. They're different. But they're doing this with introversion, which I will say, people that are introverted that are within FA, they are especially at risk because they're not going to go out and see what BS it is. So it has to be called out, which is why I'm calling it out.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay,
I got it for you. Let me handle it, Alex. I got it.
Experiences. The difference with the podcast compared to the other decade of material I've made is I'm asking people to look at me, and I'm asking for people to hear me. And that has changed things. It has changed the conversations I have with people in my life, you know.
I love the way you say
but I've also experienced some people being like, "Ooh, I don't like what you said."
Yeah.
And And I think I have to be okay with that, right? Like someone got mad at us cussing, and so like I mean, listen, if you knew me in real life, yeah, I cuss, and it comes out, especially in humorous situations. I don't really like cuss at people in anger. I don't experience anger that often. But unlike Alex,
Retweet, retweet.
but like I am being more my full self versus just sharing what I'm shopping and what I'm wearing and like little highlights of my life,
Yeah.
So like this is me, and that means I'm asking people to hear me. And it feels a little bit more consequential than if like people don't like it or whatever that is, right? But like I'm not hiding as many aspects of myself, like
Yeah.
literally in our last podcast I joked about watching BBW porn, what I mean? Like, so I'm not, it was
I love
very
that
subtle,
so
so like
much.
now it's less subtle than
Oh
I
no,
did
I
that.
got it.
Yeah, but like
Oh, I completely missed it.
well,
Color me surprised.
but like I'm much more just like putting it out there, and so that is different for me. And when you ask someone to hear you and they choose not to, or they deny it or they dismiss it, that feels, honestly, that feels worse to me than you tell me I'm ugly, right? So I think it's just something that is a new space for me, but one.
I'm sorry. I don't know if you caught that, but she's once again. We're just gonna video's gonna freeze. See this right here?
Oh, okay.
Give me a second for it to go away. I'll edit it out, I promise. Okay, so I don't know if you caught that, but what she was saying was like, you're just not giving me the attention that I want. Give me more attention. Give me the positive attention. But instead, she's like, she would hate that you actually dismiss the attention than her get the negative attention. She literally said that. She said, I would rather get the negative attention, pretty much, other than the you just dismissing her.
Anything is better than, wow. Yeah.
She said having being dismissed. Like she didn't mean it that way, but that's what subconsciously what she was saying.
It's that idea that any attention is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Negative attention is better than none.
Yeah.
Which, as far as the toxic ritualistic, you have to be careful with that because, again, boredom is a huge trigger, and it could be boring for her maybe if people aren't paying attention. So, and this happens a lot on social media in general, but I think it can be especially bad. Again, it's something that can make it worse, where you feel like I have to say these outlandish things so I can get attention. Anybody could do that online. But I think within the toxic ritualistic, it can be so outlandish that it's like, what the hell, and some of what they're saying and doing is so out there. It's like, oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, it's just the way she set up the conversation. Because like, you know me, I'm all about like how you logically present an argument. And she was talking about, oh, this is just highlights of my life. This is me living my life, which at first sounds fine. And then people are attacking you just being like, oh, I bought a cute outfit. I can see why that would be upsetting.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not promoting anything. But then she goes on to, but then I say these things and it really just hurts when people just dismiss it. I would just like, rather you call me ugly. It's weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. And I think that it comes from boredom. I think it's a boredom aspect, which again, I know that I feel like she might hate me more than the other ones do if they knew me. Because I call her out on a lot of stuff. Because I feel like with her, she might not be as deep in it. So she really lets certain things slip. But part of it is being super morbidly obese or very, very big. It's boring because you can't do as much, or it's harder to do things. And if she doesn't have a natural drive to get out there and do something, the barrier of her weight might be enough that she doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Or it can be very limited. And so you can get really, really, really bored.
Yeah.
And so then it's easy and stimulating to get online and get a bunch of hate.
Yeah.
Because that's easy to do. It's cheap and it's easy, rather than actually getting praise for doing something good or constructive. Yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah.
I absolutely feel it's worthwhile to go through and to experience.
That was something that again last week with all the trolling we were going through, and at the same time, the somebody else had put out, you know, a reaction video to us, whatever, and I did find myself adding a comment or two, and they were not like
10 months ago. Who did a reaction?
They were not vicious. Okay, it was just
It's
like,
probably Alan.
how can you sit here and talk about us for an hour and literally just be like, this person is saying like, you guys need to get a hobby, babe.
It's true.
Your hobby is just talking.
It's true. We've been saying that the whole time.
You're bored.
Yes, I literally had to be like, you're bored in this episode. And last one, I'm like, this is really introvert cringe, you know, like really bad. Like I can tell you guys do not get out. And I'm not saying that to be a bitch. Like I know like in terms of millennialism, being introverted is horrible and whatever. Yeah. Gen Z doesn't have that stigma with introversion, but for you guys in Gen Z that don't get it, it can be like a huge attack as a millennial to be like, you're introverted. To me, it's just a reality. I'm very introvert. I'm pro introvert. It's probably like one of my major things, but it's like, no, like you guys need to get out. Like you have to get out as an introvert. It is like taking a shower. Like you have to, because you will go into la la land really fast, or like, oh, especially over months and months of time. Like it's bad. So if it was Alan, which I'm thinking it was, and he's saying you need a hobby, or maybe it was somebody else, I don't care who it was. Yeah. They were dead on. That's true. They do. They need to develop other aspects of themselves, or again, please don't say touch grass, or like just kind of like do something, even like knitting. Like, I mean, you
can go to a knitting group.
This is tangible. You're using your hands. This is like real life. Like they need to get off a screen or like actually, it's bad. Yeah. It's really bad. And you'd think they wouldn't be, again, I'm not trying to be totally like millennial shaming, but you'd think they wouldn't be this bad because we were so encouraged to do things. Yeah. Like I was so heavily encouraged, which I think it actually really helped me, to be honest, because my mom is super extroverted. And
my upbringing was like literally the exact opposite. My mom is the same personality type. She's a 4-wing 5, and so introverted that I was like, I want to do more, and she's like, no, because then she would have to go outside.
Yeah. Whereas my mom's for you guys who are into Enneagram, she's a 7. She's super extroverted, and she's just like, you're never doing enough. Like you got to get out there. You got to do this. You got to do that. And so like I got used to that. And I think because my mom was so extroverted, I probably connected with a lot of extroverts. Yeah. And so, and then they were like in high school, it was like, you have to come to the movie, blah, blah, blah. Why aren't you coming? You have to. Like literally I'd get in fights, like you must come. Like you cannot not go. And it's like, oh my gosh, which it helped me because
think about this morning. You're like, I don't want to go to the pool. And Erica like, come to the pool, Alex.
And then I did.
Yeah. It was only like 30 minutes, but you came.
I did.
Like, yeah.
But it had to be fought about a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like, and then I was like, I probably should just go. And But that helps me a lot. I think that's why I can do this online and stuff, because otherwise it would, I don't know, I might be just as bad as them, to be honest. It might be like on that level. But anyways, yes, get some hobbies. It'll help you. I'll let you do it. It'll help you.
I know how the screen works.
Talking shit about us. So like, maybe you should get a hobby. Anyway, but there were people that responded to some of my comments.
More substantive.
Like, oh, she's just trying to disprove your what you're saying. I'm like,
because someone's making money.
Excuse me.
Someone's making ads for
I don't know if you know this, but you can't disprove our lived experiences. Yeah. Like, and that's the thing that's so mind blowing to me is that
can we not disprove their lived experiences? Because I think their experience is delusional.
It can be delusional.
Yeah.
And I think what you can do with lived experience is you can also share one that's the exact opposite of what you're saying. And you can at the very least cast major doubt.
Yeah.
which is what we do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to try to say that to people who have never been fat or never done this or never done that. It's very hard to just say my lived experience against somebody who has a different one.
Well, I think that's why you and I doing this is okay. Sorry, it's better. It's better, okay, than other people doing it because we've actually been super fat.
Yeah.
And so we can say, well, girl, we had a lived experience too, and we know you're full of SHIT.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also I'm very introverted too. And I sit here and I think about it very deeply and theorize and create this encyclopedia of it in my mind, because I can understand the small fat moment where you do get a lot of attention and it's not always pleasant. And people remember that, they probably all had that phase and then they hold on to that. But it's have you really been through a lot at this stage that isn't online? Probably not.
Yeah, they probably were like small fat middle school.
Yeah,
they think their entire life is middle school.
It literally something like that. And even with what Lisa went through yesterday, it's not truly horrible or anything. It's just
it would have been horrible if you and Eric weren't there.
Yeah, that probably would have been scary. But it's it's not. Nothing really bad happened. It's just unpleasant.
Yeah,
that's the best.
And even then, I was not at all in my head connecting it to my body size.
Yeah,
Alex is just putting it out there where people just happen to notice me because my body size. That's something that you educated me on. I probably have why are people looking at me?
Right.
I don't know.
You're right. Which it's not again, I don't even think people are really registering that. It's just something that they see you, which it's not always bad. That's why there's a lot of small fat people that are famous or that break out into, because they're seen.
Yeah.
It's not always a bad thing. You can think of Trisha Paytas, for example. Yeah. She's pretty, at least YouTube famous,
Yeah.
She was small fat her whole way through. So it's that visibility, it's not always bad, but it's something you have to work with. But it's that's actually helpful to talk to talk about. And again, I'm talking especially to people who are really big that are what is it going to be on the way down? Because you need to know that. And again, you may have just adapted as an extrovert and just dealt. But for the introverts, it's it can be really sticky.
Yeah, I think it also helps as in extrovert being an Enneagram 3, just in being extremely non-reactive.
Yeah.
I do have that forewing. I was reacting yesterday when my plane was delayed on the tarmac.
Yeah.
And it was over text, but I didn't let it show. I just showed Alex and Eric on text. But I was gonna say Trisha Paytas. She's pregnant.
Yeah, she is.
And the Pope passed away.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
Just have that button.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, press and play.
I similarly, when I started out on my publicly fat journey, I similarly was just I found a cute dress, and if you also want to feel cute in this cute dress, here's where you can get it, right? And I started out very timidly like that. I'm not saying that that's how you are, but that's how I started out. That's how I started out.
That's not how I started out. No, girl.
That's totally fine. Yeah.
No, showed up differently.
But that's how I started out, and it very quickly morphed into oh no, I have more to say than this. And I started, like you said, I started using my voice more, but I feel like I've come to learn that the overwhelming majority of it is not so much yes, there's a ton of shitty men on the internet who are just so upset with the fact that we're not upset that they don't desire us. But
that's why I think it has to be Ellen or something. She really does that a lot, or she really hones in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not trying to be super extra, but it's are we really going to act girls never comment on other girls' sizes?
No.
That's just ridiculous.
But it's only 10% Alex.
I'm just saying, it's not necessarily a gendered thing, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's very, it's pretty, a lot of people will say it. And again, I do think that the toxic ritualistic numbers for men are very underreported.
Yeah.
I think a lot of men think that it can't be the case for them, but no, it very much can. And it's not, even if you're super masculine,
well,
it can still be there.
We also have to acknowledge the amount of women who would comment on men. And
True.
the reason why you don't see it as much is because men adapted a lot faster, and that's why they all have anime profiles now.
Oh god!
Like they hide what they look like. They will come on to criticize you for whatever reason, whether it's what you look like or opinion you said.
Not the anime.
But they have an anime profile, and it's to hide themselves because they know that they're probably, if they could show it off, they would, and so because they're going to attack you, they're going to have that mentality of, I don't want to be attacked in that same way. And so because if you look at what those women say back to them, they'll say, well, I bet you're just an ugly person living in your mom's basement. So like it goes both ways. And I know it's like, that's a weird example, but people are going to attack you where they think you're most vulnerable. And that's just the internet.
Yeah, it's similar when I've said things on TikTok against like fat acceptance and stuff, and they try to just talk about my appearance or like that I'm fat or whatever, or they'll be like, not your voice this, your voice that, which to me it's like, honey, it doesn't matter how I sound, it don't matter how I look. It doesn't make the person I'm talking about any less dumb. Yeah. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
But that's exactly the example I was talking about, where because they're perceiving that an attack on the thing that they're insecure about, they're going to attack you on what they're insecure about.
That's true.
Yeah. So like that person's like, look at your body size. I'm like, yeah, I look at it every day, on my channel.
Right.
And because they think it's going to hurt me because it hurt them.
Right. Which it doesn't. And then, I just don't. I think that it's just a human thing.
Yeah.
Again, that's another like human moment.
Yeah. But they're making it about being fat and being a woman. And then like, no, that's literally everyone. It's just that if somebody can't make fun of you for being fat, they're going to find something else. They would find like you said, your voice or something.
Yeah. They'll use anything. Yeah. They'll use anything, honestly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, which again, that's important to know because if you're losing weight thinking, oh my gosh, people will finally stop saying shit about me.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
They won't.
Like, when people don't know I'm fat, the thing that they'll attack me on is they'll like, well, you want to get married? Like, there's a reason why you're unmarried at 35. And it's like they'll use my age,
that's
right?
really specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It'll be anything and anything.
And I'm like, you're unmarried too, bud.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean? It's like, they're project. It's always projection. That's basically what I'm saying. It's projection. I used a lot of words to describe the word.
Pretty much.
There's so.
No, that's me crying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like me.
There's so many of them that are just like, no, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. What you're saying, that doesn't happen. Like, okay, again, just because it didn't happen to you, just because it doesn't happen to you, doesn't mean it's not true. You can't.
Okay, no, that's not what people are saying, though. We're not saying it doesn't happen. We're saying it happens on the internet. And tell me about experiences you had in real life. They never can.
Or they don't bring it up.
Yeah.
Which it would definitely mean more.
Yeah.
Like, because I even talked, when I've jumped through these social categories as I've lost weight, I bring up real life examples of things that happen in person.
Yeah.
Like my girly pop moment with my sweater. That's something that happened as I was approaching the mids that had never happened to me. And people would be like, oh, well, that's never happened. No, I have never had that happen to me. Like, that's weird because I'm out in public all the time for years and years. And that has never happened. Like, that was totally new. Yeah. It's like, but that's real life. And it wasn't negative at all. I'm just saying, like, you can have that. Yeah, it's visibility, but it's also like, it's just a different vibe that you're bringing to the table, which that's part of why I talk about that too, because you want to be aware of it. And I think that you're right. They don't bring real life examples.
No. And they're like, just because it didn't happen to you. It was like, well, if I go on the internet and as we did, and you've seen the unhinged comments I've gotten.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful video on it, guys. Go check it out. It's on my homepage on my YouTube channel where I get the most unhinged comment that attacks me from everything from my disability to me being anti-fat acceptance to me being anti-socialist to just like a completely unhinged going down the list of things. And it's like, that's my lived experience, but it's also on the internet. If I actually met that person in real life, like I guarantee you 100%, they would not be able to get any of those words out because they would just be so intimidated. They wouldn't be able to say it to my face.
Probably not.
Yeah. So it's not real life.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
It's just a freaking YouTube comment. It's an Instagram comment.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Can't disprove, like, oh, they're just trying to disprove to me, who's in the video. She's just saying that she's disproving blah, 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 blah. What did I say on there that was like, it was our lived experience. It's like, well, she's disproving. Okay. All right.
Well, I think this is
they
something
need to give a real example. That was horrible.
Talk about is why can we have a full podcast with weekly episodes about being fat? Why can't
I think
that's
you can't do it because it's boring.
Oh lordy, let's start from the beginning.
Give it to us, Reba. Give it to us.
No, it's. I think that's when I said before, like I didn't do that. Like I remember. I think if I have to pinpoint when I started posting on Instagram, it was right when I started to see the light at the end of recovery, and I went on with like a recovery post, and in that post was just like pictures of me trying to survive. And there was a picture of me at Renfrew crying. There's a picture of me and my mom crocheting strawberries. There's a picture of me and people I was at residential with. And I just basically was like recovery and explained what recovery is and said, and I'm back and you bitches ain't ready.
Yeah.
Like I very much gave a warning. And I think I slowly eased into it. And then, obviously our friendship has inspired and helped me so much in owning my space. But I think that's what it is I needed to own my space for me. And I think that's how I started to like boldly talk about it, this podcast to me means
oh my gosh,
this podcast means that maybe we can get in front of other people to help them so they don't.
I'm going to start doing this to Lisa all the time. I have to start doing this. I need to learn how to which one is it? I need to learn how to cry on command. I wish I was more like extroverted to where I could do that because I would do it all the time just to bug Lisa constantly.
The thing is I can cry on demand. But I don't because I hate emotions. And so like why would I want to have my own emotions? But I do have like very like hyperactive tear ducts. So I can just like make myself cry. But no, like for example with Eric has this really empathetic face. And every time he does, I'm like, put your face away. I don't want to see your emotions.
Eric's face.
He's like a Pisces. He's like, every time I talk, he's like, and I'm like, no, stop it.
So funny.
But you see it, right? What he does?
Oh yeah, he does. He does it.
He's like, yes.
I'm like, I don't believe it.
Oh, yeah, I think it's fake too, but it's like he's practiced his entire life of having this like empathetic expression. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't handle it. It's like it feels too much. We love you, Eric, but like we know it's fake as all hell.
I have to just start talking like this girl to Lisa all the time and
be like I probably just start laughing.
I know.
I would go, shut up, Alex.
Well, for me, like I'm very emotional and all that. And I do, God only knows. I probably have cried like probably in the past few days. I mean, it's just like I live and breathe it every day. But it's like I'm also private. Yeah. Like I don't cry in front of people. Like I'm a private girly pop. Yeah. So I don't understand just doing that. Like there's been moments in my activism where I have teared up occasionally, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
It's usually on like a bad audio recording video where I'm not actually on it, because it's like when you're really in the trenches or something, and I feel like I have to talk about something, but it's like she always does it to where I don't know if it's like even real anymore.
Yeah. Well, I know for me, I have Mars and Cancer in my second house. And so I get really, really frustrated over like my routine being like messed up. And so, for example, the last time, I mean, I shed a tear for small fat. For oh my God, that's wrong. Small fat. I shed a tear for small fat.
Small fat era.
I said small fat. But anyways, but I once called Alex on the phone weeping because I lost my car keys and it messed up my schedule. That's my emotional tick. It's literally like that kind of stuff. It was not that serious, but my schedule was thrown off.
It's very ENTJ.
And he was such a nice friend to be like, yeah, I'll listen to you cry on the phone about your car keys.
Yeah, I don't know. I cry all the time. Well, at least I used to. I don't really as much now, which for me, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not crying all the time anymore. No. What is this? But it's just normal. But for me, it's like, I'm just, I'm private. I don't know. I don't get it. Because I feel like too, if you're that emotional, I don't know. I guess I don't know how healthy it would be. I'll put it to you that way. Yeah. I don't know. I'm skeptical as to how healthy it is to be so public with your emotions all the time. Like, it makes me uncomfortable because it makes me feel like she's not nearly through recovery whatsoever. She's not strong at all. She can't actually handle these ideas. And I think if I were to be more like real about how I'm really feeling, I think it makes me uncomfortable because I'm like, people online are nasty. Yep. I don't know if you should put all that out there all the time. And I don't know how recovered you actually are if you can't talk about it without crying every 5 seconds, which she cries all the time about everything. Yeah. So I just think it's too raw, I guess. Too raw.
It's that one.
This one?
No. That one. Oh, that one, yes.
Okay.
Their literal life hating themselves.
100%.
We hate ourselves so much, Alex.
I feel like I've missed so much life.
Yeah.
Like truly, at the end of the day, you know, I think this whole podcast and everything we were doing can just get watered down to as simple as showing people that there is another way.
But what is that
100%, way? 100%. Like, and that
all they're actually doing in reality is toxic ritualistic reinforcement. It's just telling people it's okay to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat forever, to continue to cycle through different things. I mean, they will talk about how awful it is to restrict it all, which, okay. But again, it's one of those things where if you're obsessed with it either way, it's not really going away. You have to have neutrality within the disorder. It has to do with black and white thinking and thinking about things, you know, like any and all restriction is bad. Yeah. That's still a problem. Yeah. You're not seeing it clearly. You're not looking at things clearly. I mean, that's the whole issue with it. Yeah. Because she's thinking that I think the most horrible part to me, what I see in her is she believes that she has recovered, and I know she hasn't. I can tell she hasn't. And I know that's controversial to say, but I really do not believe her recovery. She cannot talk about it without crying. Yeah. It's still cutting her so deep. It's still such an issue. I never talked about this stuff when I was in the depths of recovery. It was hard. The first couple of years was hard.
And I think there's definitely, I think you're right about it. If it does affect you that much, you shouldn't be talking about it. Like, there's definitely things in my life, like traumatic things, where if I talk about it, I'll start crying. And it's like, I'm not going to put it on the internet.
Yeah.
Because you also have to, if you truly are being an activist, if they're claiming they're not, I mean, I feel like they do and they don't.
Yeah,
like,
it's whenever it's convenient. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you are doing that, you have to be the steady rock, you have to be solid, because people are going to be relying on you to be an example. And you're not being a good example of this is what you can achieve. Because she said, like, this is recovery. Well, it's like, you're not saying I'm still currently in recovery. Like, is she?
I don't know.
Yeah. Like, what are you on this recovery journey?
And I think she needs to detail that. Like, that's a genuine criticism I have, because I'm confused. I'm not seeing recovery. I don't see it. Even if we're just talking pure logic, like, I can listen to the way somebody talks and you can hear the illogicalness of the disorder if you hear what they're saying or how they act emotionally. That is one way you can tell.
Yeah.
So if she cannot even talk about this, it's not good.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll get on here and I'll say, I look in the mirror, I don't feel anything, and it's weird to me. It's still weird. I'm not sitting here crying about it.
No. And if you were, I would be sitting next to you.
I wish I could, just to bug Lisa, but I can't, because I'm not really an actress. I can't really do it.
Yeah.
I'm not that way. Like, I feel how I feel, and that's it. I can't really hide it at all, pretty much. But to me, it's like, you can see that I am recovered because I can't hide how I feel. So if I really was that tortured about it still, which there were moments where I was, like, a year ago.
Yeah.
But it was about it being gone. It was hard to live without it, which that's a different step. But I think she's still in it.
She's in it deep.
Yeah.
What I feel about so much of our content that we put out, all of our content. And that's how I felt about that horrific trolling experience. It was like, I'm okay. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I mean, I can't lie to you guys, but, like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys either, our viewers or our listeners.
Yeah, Allie was not okay.
I was not okay. And it's okay to not be okay. And I know that, like, we'll stitch that on a pillow somewhere, but, like, it's okay to be honest about how getting almost, I think, over 1,000, maybe 1,200 comments where 90% of those are telling you that you don't deserve to take up space in this world. You don't deserve to live in this world. It is perfectly okay to not feel great after that. So I think that's kind of a misconception too. It's like, oh, well, just don't listen. Because I did have so many people that were reaching out to support, right? But I had people who were like, oh, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. And with all the best intentions, but it's like, I'm going to listen. And here's my feelings, because my feelings matter. And just like you kind of said, like, also taking up space for myself wasn't just in my body, but in knowing that my emotions were valid and my feelings were valid, and spending a whole life trying to hide who I was, both physically and emotionally, and all of these things. Like, it's allowed me to be.
What you said earlier, that they straddle the line too much between an activist and, like, a vlog.
You see it?
You're one tear.
I told you I can cry on demand.
Well, to me, it's like they're straddling it too much. Where it's like, is this your journal, or is this an activistic thing? Because I can assure you, those are two separate things.
Yeah.
I may get emotional occasionally, and it's rare. It's like probably like twice a year on this channel. It is, unless if anger is an emotion, then it would be all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, like, crying and stuff. And if I do, it's probably very serious, or it's very relevant to me at the moment. But I don't cry about personal drama stuff on this channel. It is an activistic channel. Yeah. What are they trying to do?
Yeah. Well, that's the reason why I decided between the last time we paused and this time pause, I was going to shed a tear.
Okay.
I made it a conscious decision, because it's like, I feel like my personal opinion, and I know this is very controversial, is that so much emotion is a choice. And being able to
not for me. I don't believe that.
Well, like, here's the thing about it. Well, like, I If I wanted to use tears to make my point, I could.
Oh, okay.
But have you ever seen me do that? No. But I just proved to Alex right now I can cry on demand. I literally just said, like, he's like, your one tear. I'm like, yeah, my one tear right there.
Tear, yeah.
Yeah. So, and like, it's so rare to see me cry, but I can do it whenever I want, which is why, I mean, that sounds so psychopathic. But it's just a physical response. But like,
it doesn't make you any more accurate.
Yeah. But my whole point is that, you know, you can emotion. You're right. You sometimes you can't control some of the emotions you have, but I'm saying you can choose to then go on a podcast and just not make it about your emotions.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Yeah,
and I think too you shouldn't because, like I said, your diary is not your activism. No. They need to separate that because I don't know. And then because then too, like if somebody criticizes you, then it's like, oh, well, they're criticizing me and and it's like. But no, maybe they're criticizing the point you made. Yeah. It's like you're mixing it too much together. And I get that. I understand. Yes, like even for me with my activism, I intertwine my story with it a lot in my experiences and in all this stuff. But I also talk about other people's experiences, like Lisa's, for example. It's not just about me because I don't take it as just a single data point. It's things that I look at and trends and things. And I've researched this issue extensively for most of my life, many years of which was because I was so in this issue that you just know. And again, people that have been in it, they know. I know you guys know, you know, she doesn't. She's always like, huh?
But I believe you.
Yeah, but you can see it if you look across a population of people that all act similarly. It makes sense because it's a problem. But that's the thing about it is I don't feel like they're that recovered at all. I've talked about they're the exact opposite. They're like completely locked in to it. They reinforce it in each other constantly. It's a huge problem. I get on here and I say, if you have friends like this, you're not going to get out. You're not. Because they will not let you get out. And it will be so painful for you to get out because you're going to probably have split relationships, huge problems, all this stuff, and it's going to make it very anxiety inducing, which makes it really hard to get out. So all I can do is point that out, which people don't like. And then of course I have my hater who's like, but it's like,
haters.
I really only have one. Oh, okay. I over dramatize it, but I do. But I only really have one, to be honest. But you know, to me, I use that hater as an extension of my activism. You know, I'm glad I have the hater because I can kind of point that out. Look, she's trying to shut me up. Yeah. Look, this person's trying to enforce it on me. That's a way that I can use that. And you can probably see her comments under this video. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see it in real life, or like not in real life, but in action, because some of how this person talks to me, it's how they would reinforce the disorder in you. Yeah. So what did she tell me in one video? It'd be a more important transformation for you to be a nicer person than to be healthier. That's huge. That's huge reinforcement. There are so many people with BINGE that are people pleasers, that they do the behaviors to quell their anger or to quell any form of aggression or competition or any of these things. No. I don't notice half that stuff if it happens on my channel. No. Like it's sometimes like you notice it and I don't. I think they wouldn't do it as much because I think even subconsciously they can tell you never had the problem. So they wouldn't try. Yeah. Well, I mean, as I said, I'm not involved in Alex's drama. So not yet. No. Trying to drag me into it. But no, I think to me it's no, and that doesn't really matter. But what I'm saying is it's still a good example, which is why I'm bringing it up. Yeah. Is it I have a personal problem. Am I tortured and crying about this person, Lisa? Are you trying to get me to reinforce it for you? Or are you like trying to drag me into it? And like that's what I'm saying. Like you don't. No. Yeah. So I feel like also when you have a problem like that, you need other people to acknowledge it and get on board with it and be like, come into the space and fight with me
that kind of stuff, you know?
No, and it's, to me, it's not something that I'm personally tortured by.
Yeah.
It has to do with, I can make a point with it, which is why I unblocked her and all that stuff. I'm like, I can make a point with her. I can show what she's doing. She's proving my case. And that's an activist.
Yeah.
You have to make a decision. If it was my personal emotion, I would block her ass. I don't like her. I don't want to hear what she has to say. I don't. But it's not about how I feel. It's about the point that's being made. And you have to put your feelings aside. So again, I do criticize them sometimes as an activist, but I agree with you. They're not clear about their goals.
I think also it's very important. You know, this is like I said earlier, I'm not sure was this video or the last part where she said, you know, if you don't like it, just don't watch it. And I feel like that's important for just regular people. So like if you're a regular viewer and you really, really, really like hate Alex, just don't watch his channel. You know, if you're not like, if you want to be a YouTuber and you want to react to him and make your own point, like that's a little bit different. But if you're just in the comments, it's one of those things where, you know, unless you're actively going against his activism, you're trying to make a counterpoint to it. What are you doing? You know, like if you're just there to tell him you don't like him, that's
which that kind of stuff I may not leave it, but it doesn't happen very often, and I can't be on here and be like, oh my gosh, I'm not like, I'm really not. So that's not what this is. But the part that bugs me about that person is that reinforcement aspect behind what she's doing, and it's disgusting to me.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. It's like, but I'm assuming they're presenting it like, I don't like you.
Yeah, they're presenting it as personal.
Exactly. So I'm saying if it were actually that, then the solution would be just not to comment, but they seem to keep coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me because she's on the other side of the issues. So it kind of shows that it goes all the way across, and it has to do with, it's the same thing that happens in fat acceptance. If you get out of it, they make personal digs at you. You didn't really know. You don't really know what you're talking about. Like they make it very personal.
Yeah.
And it's because it feels personal to you when you're in the problem. But it's not. It's somebody trying to live their life. And which honestly, as far as me being not nice, it's like, honey, I don't think I've ever really been that nice. You know, I think it was just I
wouldn't describe you as a nice person. I mean, you're nice to me, but I wouldn't describe you as like.
I mean, but in general, it's like, even when I was engaged in the behaviors, I never was nice. I just maybe was quiet.
Yeah, not to say that I think Alex is a bad person. I'm just saying, like, you don't like. If you watch me interact with people, like checking in the hotel, I'm like, thank you, ma'am, thank you, sir. Like, I'm just a generally nice person, and it takes no effort for me to be nice. But not everybody is like personable, I guess the right way to put it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like unpleasant or rude, but it's just like, I'm not super warm and gushy and like I want to talk to everybody like I'm their best friend. I don't feel that way. And I don't have to. But it's like, to me, I think in terms of nice or not, I gladly threw out that label, because to be nice, oftentimes it just means to be stupid, for one. For two, it often means to be kind of self-destructive in a way.
It's a very doormat behavior for a lot of people. Like, I know some people who are like, they go out of their way so hard to be nice just to be a doormat. And because they'll often say things like, I would rather be known for who I include than who I exclude. Like, they say that kind of stuff a lot. And for me, it's like, I'm a nice person, but if I'm excluding you, it's probably because I don't like you and there's something wrong with you, you know, because I am a nice person. And, and I sense your unpleasantness. I sense your unpleasantness, and I don't want to be around you because I'm a nice person. Like, that's the realistic nice person where you still have boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's like, I'm not particularly vicious, but I'm also not at all a doormat whatsoever. So it's like, I just feel like what is it that person's actually trying to say? You see, it's like they're not really saying anything. It doesn't mean anything. I think that's the other problem I have with it too, is it doesn't actually mean anything. Yeah. But it's the only reason I'm bringing it up here now is so many people feel a pressure to be nice and they dive into this disorder because of it. It's a major trigger. It is huge. Yeah. It's probably about as big as boredom. It's up there. Yeah. And it's an American thing. You know, I did have one of you guys comment because I said, oh, like girls are always pressured to be so nice. And she was like, basically saying not in England. And I was like, oh my God, no, you're right. It's totally American.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's like, I've traveled a lot. I've been to like 20 plus countries and I've stayed in a lot of hostels. And there's this joke that's like, how do you spot the American? It's the one who comes into the room, introduces themselves and like starts talking to you and they're smiling. It's like, that's because that's American culture, is just to be nice. And everybody else is like, why are you talking to me? Alex, you need to be British. You need to be born British, and then you'll be perfect. You fit right in.
If I went to England. Well, I remember this one TikTok. This is so like extra, but this is just kind of fun to talk about. But this one American girl, she was like, I went to England. She's like, and I feel like I'm a girl's girl, but they were just all so mean to me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, honey, it's because you seem dumb. I don't know. Like, maybe I do relate more to the British style. Well, maybe I just do.
That's definitely happened to me where people just assumed I was dumb because I was so friendly, but then they try to cross me and then they learn.
Yeah.
That afternoon does not play.
Well, I didn't think that it was nice that they were bullying her and I felt bad for her, but I'm just like, honey, like you got to have a bit of grit. Like, I don't know everything about England, but you got to be a little bit more gritty. That's
to be fair, because I do have the milkmaid power and I can lift things. And so I look tough.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, I have had people like, I've had on initial people treat me like I was dumb, but that typically doesn't last. But also, I don't think I sound dumb when you actually listen to the content of what I'm saying.
Yeah. No.
So that's
I don't think being nice makes you dumb. It's just sometimes that's what it is. That's what it means to be nice.
Definitely.
Like you have to encourage somebody's delusion to be nice. No way.
Do you want to pause here or go a couple more minutes?
We can pause here. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I guess we're wrapping that up.
Yes. Go be mean to everybody. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just think my real feelings about niceness is just, which some of which you heard, I feel like it can mean that you're dumb or it can mean that you don't have boundaries or whatever. But in reality, I think it just has to do with agreeableness or pleasantness, which is, it's a natural trait or it isn't. Yeah. If you don't have it, don't force yourself to have it. It's not healthy. Yeah. You have to be okay and not be controlling of other people. That's a different problem. Yeah. But my whole thing is be who you are. I'm introverted at any size. I'm not going to be super nicey nice at any size. I'm not. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And I don't think Lisa will be less of a nice person at a smaller size. No. It's not necessarily going to change. Some of these things are just innate and we need to separate it from size and from consumption behaviors. And that's what I'm trying to bring up in this. But anyways, thank you for being here again. Yeah, and we'll be finishing this together. So
yeah, probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're doing a different video tonight. And then do my video tomorrow. Because I have a video from my channel. I want Alex to educate me on small fatness some more.
Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.